morning, welcome. Thank you all for being here. My name is Nadia. I'm a teaching fellow in the commercial law department, and I teach on the stage 2 courses, and this is Nabeel, who's also a teaching fellow from ILT. The reason this project came about was because we really wanted, I think both of us really want to improve student experience, to make it more pleasant, to make the learning journey more pleasant for students and for us as well. And we have this great new thing called Canvas, so we thought, well, I was thinking that I wasn't making very good use of it, and I thought, well, we've got an expert in the room, so...
Yeah, hi, I'm Nabeel. I'm a learning designer, and I work with the Innovative Learning and Teaching unit here at the Business School. I had the pleasure to work with Nadia over this course. Nadia has been keen to improve the courses she teaches. She is specifically interested in using Canvas and utilizing its tools to provide a nice, pleasant, positive online experience for the students. It's still a traditional course, but we know that the students are attached to their devices and tablets, and we thought, well, let's explore Canvas. How can we make this learning experience positive, more scaffolded, and interesting?
Okay, so what were we trying to do with this project? Well, we were trying to improve the clarity around course rules and expectations and provide a sense of learning direction. So what I mean by course rules, basically every semester the students are asked the same thing and you get a ton of emails. So we wanted to clarify that at the very beginning. So course rules, like what do I need to do to pass, how many marks do I need to pass, how many assignments are there. Course expectations, what you need to do before class, what you need to do in the tutorial, all those sort of things that they keep asking over and over again. And also to give a sort of sense of direction. Why are we here? Why am I coming for class? What am I doing here? Where am I headed? And what do I need to do to get there? And we thought that Canvas would be a really good place to try and achieve these objectives, because we've got, like Nabeel mentioned, students who are born with the internet and with all these devices around them. They're attached to their devices. They grew up with this technology. And as was mentioned earlier, we have quite a low attendance rate at lectures, so we need to have a really good online learning environment for students who can't make it for lectures. Is there any?
Yeah. As the previous speaker said, that it's about a third of our students show up for the lectures. So we thought the way the course is written in Canvas matters. The way the course is scaffolded in Canvas matters, because if they don't show up, then they can see how things work or should work in the Canvas environment. So to achieve the purpose of this project, which is twofold, improving the clarity around course rules and expectations, and establishing a sense of learning direction, we thought we need to be guided by some learning theories and principles. And to achieve that purpose, some learning theories and principles came to our minds. The adult learning theory, that adults are goal-oriented, relevance-oriented. They need to see the relevance for their learning, and they need to apply what they are learning, and they need to see how their needs are met by this or that course. The cognitive learning theory, chunking learning into pieces, establishing links between these pieces, linking the new learning to the previous learning. Gani's 9 events of instruction, gaining the students' attention first, informing them about the learning objectives of the course or of the lesson, and then showing them the new stuff, giving them a chance to apply the learning in class and after class. Merrill's first principles of instruction, task-oriented activation of previous learning, demonstrating of the new learning, giving them a chance to apply, and then personalize their learning, relating it to their needs and to the real life scenarios. And then Keller's model of motivation, establishing relevance, gaining attention, motivation, and other stuff. So one thing we learned from these theories and models is that we need to be clear about 4 questions. Where are we going with this course, with this class, with this tutorial? That's the learning outcomes and objectives. And why are we going there? So the relevance of this course to the life after we graduate, after they graduate actually, how is it related to their needs and interests, and then how are we going to get there? That's the resources and the pedagogical approaches, and then how or when do we know that we have arrived? And that's the assessment. So all theories and principles when talking about learning design, they emphasize clarity around these 4 questions. So what we did, what Nadia and I did, or tried to do, was to tweak certain Canvas sections, the home page, the modules, and the assignments to achieve the purpose of this project, adding clarity about course expectations and establishing a sense of learning direction.
Right, so what I'll do now is I'll show you some screenshots that Nabeel very kindly prepared about how Canvas used to be for this course. This is contract local number 1, I think we forgot to mention maybe. And the tweaks that we did to improve the course. And so you just bear with me, I'll show you live on Canvas what it looks like, so I'll be switching between screens. Okay, so this is what it used to look like. So when Canvas first got introduced, I was still in the mindset, okay, Cecil, I'll just import the material from Cecil, use it as a repository for materials and make announcements, calculate grades. So the home page was just the syllabus. And I thought, well, that's not very useful. Yes, it's got all the information, but are the students going to interact with it? Maybe not. So this is what the new homepage looks like. So you can see at the top there, we've got the recent announcement. The last 3 announcements of the course are at the top of the homepage. So students know what's going on in the course. Okay, so they're aware of the latest things that are going on in the course. So that's there. We've got a welcome message. So again, thinking about providing a sense of direction. Why are we here? What are we doing? So every time they come, they see, this is what the course is, this is how it's relevant to me, and this is what we're doing. We've got direct links, okay, I'll talk about the getting started module in a moment. The weekly modules, students really like these direct links because they just go to the home page and all the information they need is there. And the bird's eye view of the course. So every time they log on, they see this. So they understand the bigger structure of the course, how the different components of the course are connected. They know, okay, right now we're in week 1, this is what we're doing, and this is going to lead me to week 7, this is what we're going to be doing. So every time that sort of message gets reinforced, this is why I'm here, this is what we're doing, and this is where we're at. Maybe I'll just show you live now what it looks like. Okay, so this is the home page. You can see the announcements, getting started module. All right, this is what it looks like. And if I click on timetable, again, okay, so the whole idea is to put all the information in one place to make it clear where the students are at and what's happening. So you've got week 1, the students know what they're doing, the introduction, offer and acceptance, they've got the readings, they know whether there's a tutorial or a workshop, and whether, I think students are very concerned about assessment, so it's all in one place. They've got all the information in one place, and they can link directly to the weekly modules, which we will see in a moment. So we tried to get some feedback from the students. So what we did, we set up a Google survey. We sent it to the whole class. So there's 400 students in the class. We only got 46 respondents. It's not very high, but you know, n equals to 46. Okay, that's statistically acceptable. We used 5-point Likert scales, and these are some of the things we were looking for. And we asked them, do they think the homepage is easy to navigate? So the agreement, that column that says agreement, is whether the students agreed or strongly agreed with whether it was helpful, so 89%. On the Likert scale, if you've got a mean that's 4 or above 4, it means it's good, right? The students like it. If the standard deviation, that's the number in bracket, is less than 1, it means that the data is not too spread out, so that means we have confidence that the students like it, right? So you can see these are quite good results. They seem overall to think it's useful to have direct links. Last 3 announcements, okay, we've got a mean of 4. So they think it's useful, they like it, and the themes, the graph is basically, this bird's eye view, so the students also seem to think that it's useful for them to have that. Right, now, so that's the home page, that's how we set up the home page. Now let's look at the modules, where the content of the course, the information actually is held. So that was what it was like previously, okay? So I was still in the mindset, this is what I used to do on Cecil, so I'm going to do the same on Canvas. So I just put the lecture recordings under each week, and for the students to find the material, they had to go under files, they had to go under assignments, so it was not very useful and practical, I thought. And this is what it looks like now. Okay, so I think it's much better. So the Getting Started module. So basically, thinking again about setting expectations for students. So all that information is actually in the course book, but we know from experience they probably don't open the course book, they probably don't read the course prescription, they probably don't read the syllabus. So we put it on Canvas, and then you're asking me what's the difference if we put it on Canvas and it's in the course book, they still don't read it, right? Well, this is what we did to sort of force them to do it. So the students have to go through all these tabs, and you may think they'll just click and they won't read it, but then they've got to do the course information quiz at the end, and they need to score 12. So there's 15 questions, they need to score 12 out of 15. So if they haven't clicked each of these and read the information, they can't do the course information quiz. And if they don't click on each tab, and if they don't do the course information quiz, they don't get access to the next module. So you can see the prerequisite, Getting Started, essential course information, so they have to complete this module and get 12 out of 15 in the course information quiz. And the type of questions we ask is basically the type of questions that I get every semester. And it's in the course book, but they don't read it. So, do I have plusage? Who's the first point of contact? What should I do before lecture starts? One student actually said, get ready to sleep. What is piazza? So basically, the sort of things that they always keep asking, but now we ensure that they know before the course starts. So we're setting clear expectations about how this course is going to run.
How many students have had to do it twice, the quizzing?
Okay, so how many students didn't get 12 out of 15 on the first attempt? About 50. So they had to do the quiz again, but it's very easy to get to that 12 marks because there's and I didn't set a time limit, and you do the quiz the first time, you see the correct answers. So you do it again, you know what the answers are. So the main point is not to test them, the main point is to get the information that they need across, so that serves the purpose. And in terms of the weekly modules, like Nabeel was saying, why are we here, what are we doing? So we put a overview, so this is so we've got the title, this is what we're doing this week. Overview, what are we doing actually in the lectures this week? And all the material is in one place. Whereas previously, if you remember, they had to go in the files and find the stuff that they needed. It wasn't very user-friendly. So now we've got the slides, recordings, tutorials, and the self-assessment, which is questions that they do to see if they understand what's happened in the course. So the overview, it tells the student this is a learning outcome, these are the objectives, this is what's going to happen this week, the reading, and the assessments. You see the test is in week 7. And there's a quiz to discuss in class as well, which the students can do before class or during class as well. Okay, so we asked them as well in our Google survey whether they liked the Getting Started module, and the results are positive. So they think that the module was helpful to explain the course expectations. So again, we've got a mean that's very close to 4. Helpfulness of the logistics. Okay, where do I turn up for tutorials? What do I do if I miss a tutorial? It's all there. So you can see the numbers. Quite happy the students seem to be. And the last thing we tweaked were the assignments. Okay, so before, again, I think my page was not very inspiring. I just put the assignment, the word limit. Again, I don't think it's very helpful for the students. I might say a few things in class, but I don't think that was the best use of the technology that we have. And this is what it looks like now. So we've done a few changes. So I'm not sure if you can see at the top, but we've coded the assignment, Common Law 201, first semester 2017. And this is the name of the assignment. It's Europa 2. The reason we did that is because this assignment has a deadline. So it appears on your calendar. So if you don't put the course and the semester, they'll just see assignment 2, assignment 1, and they won't know which course it belongs to. So you've got to code it. So they know, oh, 201, I've got an assignment due on this date. Accounting, it's that date. So that was the purpose of coding. We tell them, again, why are we doing this assignment? It's based on learning outcome 5. This is what we're testing in this assignment. And then there's a link to the question. And then also we've provided more scaffolding, like more help for them to do the assignments. So you can see I've got the legal essay writing quiz, which is to help students, because I always get this question, I don't know how to write an essay, I don't know what to do. Okay, so that quiz is there to help them. There's a worksheet to help them start thinking about the sort of things that they need to write in their assignments. The marking rubric, if you don't know, Europa is a peer-assessed assignment, so they use a marking rubric to mark other students' assignments, so they can see the rubric actually before logging into Europa, and so they've got all the information in one place, and all the support that they need as well, so they know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and the end point. So on Canvas, it just looks like this. Okay. And what did the students think of this? As you can see, very positive. The student feedback, they really liked it. And we also had an open-ended question in the Google survey, which
so there was an open-ended question in that survey, and a few students responded to that question, and these are some quotations. So one student said that he liked the quizzes, the course information quiz. Another student says that he likes the home page or the navigation in that environment. The other one says, well, the bird's eye view thing of the topic is confusing for me, but otherwise it's good. And then some people are asking for more direct links to the lecture recordings from the home page. So they seem to like direct links from where they land on when they open the course homepage.
Yep, so I think overall the students appreciate it. I thought they would complain about having to do the course information quiz before accessing the material. No one said word, so. So yes, now thank you for your attention. We're happy to take any questions or comments.
I've got a quick question, because I was just writing here and it said the 12 out of 15 they have to get. Does that open up access to the rest of the course?
They have to do the whole module and then do the quiz and get 12 out of 15 in the quiz, and then they get access to the other modules.
And then it all opens up
Yes.
automatically for them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say, I liked that bird's eye view thing, and I noticed in the two pieces of feedback, so the written one and also the little numerical one, that seemed to get quite a negative, the lowest of the scores. Was there a reason for that? Or did any student elaborate on why they didn't like it?
The bird's eye view. That's based on one individual's response.
But in general,
in general, well, according to the theory, it's good to chunk your learning into pieces and to establish these scaffolding structures. So I have the same doubts or why that student didn't like that bird's eye view.
But overall, the students as well, that seem to get the lowest of your
Just
feedback.
speculating, maybe because they have not done the whole course yet, so they're wondering, what is this about?
Or maybe, sorry for interruption, or maybe the student interpreted the question on the survey as if it had contributed to his or her learning, and the purpose was just for us to say, well, do you think that this kind of the big picture stuff is good to have in the homepage or somewhere in the introductory material package?
Or
So
maybe,
there might be some.
maybe because they haven't finished the course, they can't see how it links together yet, so they're
That
just
could be the
thinking,
reason.
what is
Pedagogically,
this?
saying research is saying
Yes.
bird's eye view, that type
Yes,
thing is
yes.
actually quite valuable.
Yes, yes.
So
According
maybe
to
they
the
realize at the
cognitive learning
end.
theory.
Yes.
Hello, yes. I wondered how much time would you say that it took to change over to that different format at the front end?
You mean how much time we spent setting up this Canvas page?
How many meetings did we have?
Quite a few.
3 to 5? More than 3.
Yes, it was a few days' work, but the good news is I'm happy to share if you want to.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's a collaboration between a learning designer and a teacher, I think we've saved on that in terms of time and
Yes.
investment.
So yes.
I had no idea Canvas could do all this. And so where did you find out all the things it could do?
Well, here at the business school, we've got the ILT team. They will be very happy to help if any teacher is willing to tweak the Canvas environment to make it structured and stuff like that. So you can contact the ILT and they'll be happy to help.
Yeah, I took photographs, but are we able to get the slides? Because I think I'd like to.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
There are meant to be templates. I mean, this is the whole thing. This is the trouble with the rollout of Canvas because it was done too quickly. So I thought when the templates coming, they'll be worked on.
But some teachers don't like to stick to
No,
one
no, no,
template.
It's
So
a
that's
template to do it, but something that you can actually just use straight
Yeah,
away.
so this is an example. I mean, I'm happy to share this,
Yeah.
the skeleton of it, so people can import their own material.
Because that was always the worry
Yeah.
that people just use.
I'm happy to do that, yeah.
yes, sure. Yes.
Last year at the FMHS we gave a Canvas Can Do Teaching and Learning Showcase and some templates have been made available through that. So I'll share that with Tessa and we
Yeah.
can add it to the thing. Now to answer your question, Colette, Brigida sends out weekly newsletters and that is a good reminder of the types of features that are available on Canvas. But there's also a Canvas Hacks website that you can sign up to and learn a little bit of how to do these things. And a Canvas community as well with lots of how-to guides. So I'll also forward that to Tessa.
Sorry, just also add,
Yep.
recently joined the Canvas team. At the moment we are redoing our Canvas blog site and also our newsletter format and looking at ways to provide better access to the features and capabilities.
Can I just directly add to that? If you send an email to the ask, what's that, staff services, you can actually request a one-on-one from the Canvas team, and they then come and help you, sitting with you face to face. And I did that once, and it was actually incredibly helpful.
Yeah, I need to apologize because when I answered whose question was it? Yes, your question. I thought I kind of explained it in a way that the support is only limited to the business school and the ILT team. I didn't mean that. What was in my mind when I answered your question was that the tailored nature of this kind of work, that you need to work with a learning designer and someone who knows about Canvas, and the teacher needs to be willing to do things. So that was the thing in my head when I answered your question. But there are heaps of resources for Canvas support centrally and online.
And also I want to add on, there is the Educational Technology Hub recently developed.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of kind of different stories about using technology, including some Canvas, but I think also managed by Canvas team at the moment. I think we're going to add those Canvas onto the hub as well. It's open.ed Tech Hub.
I'm just going to ask a question if it's okay. So yeah, it was really valuable seeing a really user-centric approach, which is fantastic for the students. I was just wondering, do you think that that's building an expectation from the students that this is what they will get from across their courses? Is that something that has come up in terms of consistency? Or...
Naturally
Sorry, maybe
speaking.
it's a question.
Well, I mean, my hope is that I can share with my colleagues and they will if the students like it, and they seem to like it, we can use it for all the courses. I'm very happy to share. So yeah.
And I think it does set the expectations. When the students experience a well-designed course in Canvas, then they go to another course where it's just basic in terms of the layout and how things are structured. They start comparing things, and I think that's unavoidable. It's human nature.
As a reply to that, we've asked the students in our staff, student consultative meetings, this was, I think it was last year, was it last year? And they were very confused because different courses are structured differently.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying it's to have some
Yeah.
intent, because otherwise if we do, oh, we're doing our one this way, this way, this way, they get horribly confused. And it's not good.
I
So,
think the good one about this is based on learning
Yeah.
pedagogy. So maybe we should
yeah.
think about sharing it. Yeah.
Yes. At the business school, I think we do have a template. We call it Canvas Essentials, but it's
It's
very
not being used, it's not.
very basic. Just making sure that the syllabus is online. The module section is chunked into 12 weeks, and then the assignment, and then very basic. To go beyond that, it's more of a conversation of what the teacher needs and how that's done.
But also, we've got to be careful just at business school because a lot of the students are doing conjoints and doing ones outside, so it's a
Yeah.
more pan-university approach.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions.